We've got a lot of breaking news happening right now in the King 5 newsroom. We've got reports of an active shooter that is walking towards I-5. He was last seen at the Cascade Mall. Washington State Patrol says the last description given to them is a Hispanic male wearing gray. He was last seen leaving the Cascade Mall and walking towards I-5. We do have Sky King that is on the way right now. I just got some more information from Trooper Mark Francis. 4 have been confirmed deceased in the mall from the shooter. He's left the scene before police arrived. Unknown how many have been involved in this, possibly just one, according to State Patrol. Police are now clearing the mall. Some people have been evacuated, and on the phone with us right now is Angie, who was inside a TJ Maxx. Angie, can you tell us a little bit about what you heard?
Yeah, I was shopping in the mall, and over the loudspeaker, they announced that there was an emergency outside if we could evacuate through the JCPenney parking lot, which is on the other side of the mall. And so we all headed that way.
What you're looking at is video from one of our reporters, Alex Rozier. He was up there. He was actually covering football for us for King 5 Sports Blitz tonight, and he had made his way up there. And basically, this is kind of the situation that's happened. You can see State Patrol and local authorities that have worked their way up towards the Cascade Mall. You can join us live right now at King 5. You can join us because Amanda Grace is now live on King 5.
We have breaking news to tell you about. 4 people are dead after a shooting at Cascade Mall in Burlington. Police are using every resource possible to hunt down the shooter. Sky King is over the mall right now, showing the sea of law enforcement lights and paramedics in that parking lot. Here's what we know.
WSP is reporting that the gunman left the mall before police arrived. He was last seen headed toward I-5. As far as we know, he has not been caught right now.
I have very little details, but what we have is just before 7 o'clock tonight, we had reports of shots being fired at the Cascade Mall in Burlington. Right now, we have 4 confirmed fatalities inside of that mall. We believe there's only one shooter. That shooter is being described as a Hispanic male wearing gray, last seen walking westbound away from the mall towards Interstate 5.
We understand that there are people going into the mall to attend to the injured. How many injured are there?
I don't have the number of injuries involved. I do know that EMS is arriving on scene and tending to those people.
That was Trooper Heather Axtman from the Washington State Patrol.
We know there are a lot of nervous friends, family members, people who may know people who are in that mall. We do want to let you know that survivors in the mall are being reunited with their family members at His Place Church. It's at the corner of Pease Road and Burlington Boulevard. Here's a map showing the location relative to the mall.
We just got a tweet here from our other reporter, Heather Bosch, who says the Burlington Edison football game and field were evacuated as a precaution tonight in response to the shooting that happened at the Cascade Mall. This according to the Skagit Valley Herald. So a lot of people in the vicinity aware of what was going on.
So we want to get to Heather Graff. She is there at the mall right now. Heather, I know you just arrived. Sort of set the scene for us.
Hi, Amanda. Well, yes, we arrived within just the last few minutes, and the first thing you will notice upon arrival is the huge police presence that is surrounding the mall. I want to step out of the way so we can show you the very active scene unfolding right now at the Cascade Mall, and you can see officers are working to set up a large perimeter around the mall. Our view is of the Macy's store and the main entrance to the Cascade Mall, but a very sad and somewhat chaotic scene unfolding in Burlington, where police are now working to clear the mall one store at a time.
We are getting word now that there is only one shooter involved here. Police only looking for one shooter. And in fact, we are getting a picture. This seems to have been taken from surveillance video. This is the man police are looking for. This is the man who is described by witnesses as the shooter. And this is the man still at large at this hour.
The man was described as wearing a black T-shirt and carrying a rifle. He has been captured here on this surveillance video from the Macy's store, we believe.
Alex Rozier is out at the mall right now. Alex, you had a chance to speak with a witness. I can't even imagine how terrifying it must have been to be in that mall.
Yeah, it really terrifying to say the least. You think of a Friday night and all of a sudden shots fired in the middle of a mall. Armando, who works inside the Cascade Mall, nice enough to join us now. Armando, take me back to the minutes when that shooting happened. What did you hear? What were you doing while it was going on?
I see, two young girls and an older man run outside, and I was kind of curious on why they just ran, and out of nowhere, the girl said gun, so I turn around and I hear a shot. It sounded like a clap, and next thing you know, another shot, and then after that, bang, 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 and I heard like about 7 or 8 shots, and at that point, I dropped whatever I had in my hand, and I just started running.
Let's take a look at some new video just into our newsroom right now. This is from the scene. Someone shared this with us. Clearly someone driving by the mall right now. And what really strikes you is the number of police lights that you see, this huge police presence at all points of this mall. And this is a huge mall, clearly a big movie theater there. There's a big Target as well, a bunch of shops.
We're going to go to the phone right now and talk to Joe, who was a witness. He was actually in the Macy's store at the time of the shooting. Joe, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Joe, what did you see? What happened?
Well, I was sitting outside the Macy's entrance, drinking a cup of coffee when I heard a lot of shots and people running out of Macy's store. Then I saw a man pointing a gun and shooting people. And then I got up to go look a little closer, and he saw me, pointed the gun. I took off running. And after the shots stopped ringing, I went back into Macy's to look for my wife. And I called 911 before I ran in. And while I was on 911, I let them know that there were people down. 2 elderly ladies looked like they had been, they were on the floor. I checked if they were live, and one of them was dead. Yeah, I'm sure both of them were because there was so much blood. I saw several other people laying on the floor and still looking for my wife and calling for her, and finally found her in the fitting room. And I did see there was another lady behind the cosmetic counter taking care of a wounded person, and the .22 rifle was sitting on the counter.
Alex Rozier has been out there at his place. He's been speaking with some of the family members, some of the survivors, and this is what he heard from a father who was trying to be reunited with a child. Listen to this.
But this, I don't know, they say the police, I talked for the police, you see my daughter, I don't know, they say you have more guys, people over there.
So you've tried to call your daughter and you haven't been able to reach her?
No, I call for the phone, there's no entry.
She was shopping inside the Macy's at the time?
Yeah.
Very anxious moments for that father, and Alex Rozier is joining us now live with more on his conversation with the relatives who are coming to that reunification center. Alex.
Yeah, it's just so hard in these moments right now because law enforcement isn't able to give anyone the answers they want because they're trying to go through their investigation and the steps that they have to take to get the answers that they need to get. But meanwhile, there's a number of families, some of them who have gathered here at this His Place Church in Burlington, who are demanding and pleading to give them answers about their loved ones who they have been unable to reach. I just spoke with a man who just got off work. His girlfriend works in the makeup department, and he believes that they can't have their cell phone on them at work, so maybe it is just that she's speaking with law enforcement. There's a number of witnesses who have been transported to a different location to speak to law enforcement, but he hasn't been able to get a hold of her. It's this type of situation that's become so common out here. Again, as you take a look behind me, this is the location, Peace and South Burlington Boulevard. Again, folks, we've said it multiple times, but if you need answers about a loved one who you cannot reach, this is the place you need to come to.
This is an area that was blocked off for about an hour as police were doing a search. We saw SWAT members in coming into the neighborhood, but we were kept out. Police said they didn't want people walking on the street. They didn't want cars in the area. And I'm going to bring in right now Mike Schwartz, because you live in this area that was blocked off. You said SWAT officers came to your window. Tell me what happened.
They came to our window, and they were looking through the bushes right up by the window, and they tried to pull the window open, and it only opened a little bit. And then the guy said, hey, can you open this more? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I need some light.
As we have it right now, we've got 4 females. This has changed since I first gave it to you, so bear with me. 4 females deceased inside Macy's, 1 male to Harborview.
Do we have any indication at this point whether this was a targeted incident, or is this a random incident, or do you have any clue yet?
No clue yet. We're obviously still working on the motive.
So we're continuing to follow breaking news from the King 5 newsroom. I'm Amanda Grace, and we do have some sad news to report at this hour. Sergeant Mark Francis with Washington State Patrol reports that sadly a 5th victim who was transported to Harborview Medical Center has died of his injuries. This was a man who was taken by helicopter from the Cascade Mall in Burlington. He was taken to Harborview, but unfortunately we've learned that he has died of his injuries. So that update came down at about 3:40 a.m. and it brings the death toll to 5 at this hour.
Heather Graff is still standing by at the county building right now. We're awaiting this news conference. Heather, I'm wondering what you might expect to hear from this. There are a lot of questions.
Hi, Jake, and it appears that news conference is starting right now here at the Skagit County Administrative Building. Authorities walking right in, among them the Skagit County Sheriff. I'm going to step out of the way now so we can listen in.
How do you help the community move forward, and what is kind of sticking with you as you talk
this.
Are we going to? I'm
this.
glad. I need it. Like this.
We all do.
Yes. We all do.
Yes.
We all do.
Yes.
Patty, thank you
Thank
for putting
you.
this together. And this is happening right now, and it's going to go out throughout the morning, right?
Yes.
Throughout the morning.
Up into
here
the
at Haven
afternoon.
Park.
We've got lots of food.
Lots of food here. All right, Jake, I'm going to send it back to you at Cascade Mall.
All right.
You need that, right? After hearing all of those details, it's nice to see this.
Burlington is known to be this safe and quaint, tight-knit community. What was going through your head when you saw this unfold on TV last night?
You know, it's one of those deals, as mayor, I always, you see these things happen in other communities, other states, other cities, and you wonder, how would we respond? How would our community respond? How would our law enforcement respond? And how would I respond? And this morning at the press conference, it really hit home. It just felt surreal that it had come to our neighborhood, this type of senseless tragedy. It visited our doorstep. And I can say without a doubt that our community responded well. We've had community gatherings throughout the city today. Into the evening, we're going to have more community gatherings, and into next week also. The law enforcement, like I said, the law enforcement response was top notch. They did a fantastic job of rushing in and bringing people out to safety. And I couldn't be prouder of their efforts of all across the board.
We have some breaking news to tell you about in the Cascade Mall shooting in Burlington last night. 5 people died, 4 females, 1 male. Right now we understand that a suspect, a person of interest in the shooting, has been taken into custody. We're going to go live straight to Chris Ingalls with the very latest on this breaking story. Chris?
So you're absolutely right. I have a high-level source who's telling me at this hour that police have put handcuffs on a 20-year-old Oak Harbor man who is now being escorted from Oak Harbor, where he was arrested. It's unclear if that was his residence. Perhaps it's the place he lives with his mother. But he's coming from Oak Harbor back to the Mount Vernon, Burlington area where the shooting happened last night.
We know more about 20-year-old Arkan Seaton, the Oak Harbor man who is now in custody, arrested by police in the Oak Harbor area today. So I've talked to a source who said that Seaton actually had 3 guns on him, all guns that were legally purchased and stolen from his father. The murder weapon used at the Cascade Mall last night, according to authorities, to kill 5 people was a .22 caliber Ruger hunting type gun, but he also had 2 other guns in his custody that he stole from his father. Let's show you some social media pictures of Seaton, who is a 20-year-old man who we believe lives in Oak Harbor. That's where he was arrested tonight at around 6:30. He may work at a local military base. That's one of the things police are looking into. Doesn't have much of a criminal history, apparently. An assault case from last year stands out, but not much more than that. Let's show you video from last night's scene, and this is key because last night after the shooting around 7 p.m., surveillance video captured a car leaving the scene, and police used that video to determine it was actually the suspect's car. That car was spotted in neighboring Island County around 6:30 tonight, and Lieutenant Hawley from Island County was one of the first to roll up on the scene. He describes what he saw.
I saw an individual walking northbound on the sidewalk, and I instantly recognized that is the person I just viewed on my computer. I did an abrupt U-turn, hit my lights, pulled my gun, and myself and Reserve Deputy Eric Grombaugh took the individual into custody.
3 witnesses I talked to said it happened right here on this sidewalk, and we talked to a witness who was watching the arrest right across the street on her porch.
We saw a bunch of police come in, and they said, they held their gun up and they said, freeze, drop the bag, drop the bag.
That witness took this cell phone video as well of cop cars that converged here on this street. We also talked to a man who says he recognized the suspect earlier today. He said that he recognized the suspect from a local gym.
You know, my gut was telling me to do something about it. I was like, no, that's not him. No, that's not him. But then finally something else just told me to do something about it. So I went to the base, I told the base security about it, and then I went to the base gym to go ask the guy at the base gym, was I crazy? Did he see the same thing that I was seeing? He said he thought it was the guy also.
Now, after the arrest, here's a Facebook video we got. It shows police high-fiving, of course, very ecstatic that they were able to make an arrest within 24 hours. So that is a little bit of a silver lining in this situation.
I want to get to these photos and show you them. These photos are taken, they were taken within the last hour and a half. We took them here of who we believe to be the Burlington shooting suspect. That's when law enforcement brought him in about an hour and a half ago. They took him right behind me, actually, through these gates right here into the Skagit County Jail. This, of course, a big relief for the community tonight. This community will never forget what happened here, who they lost here. And that's why at Ground Zero, they come to deliver the support Skagit families need.
That's just a dream. I feel like she should be here right now.
Salvador Lara Jr. lost his little sister, Sarari, Friday night.
Well, she was a really beautiful young lady. She was 16 years old. She was a sophomore in Mount Vernon High School. She was really sweet. She was really sweet to everybody. I don't know. I just don't know how this happened.
Sarai's father, with the help of a translator,
Está loco, pero no creo que esté loco.
is still replaying those last moments in his mind.
Que querían ir a la mall.
They told me they wanted to go to the mall that day.
Al rato vengo por
I
ustedes.
told her I'll leave you the credit card right here and then I'll come and pick you up in a little while.
That was the last time he would see his daughter.
15 minutos, mi señora me habló.
15 minutes later, my wife called me there was a shooting at the store. I came back, tried to call my daughter by phone, and she never answered me the phone.
Sarai's mother, Eva,
Tuvo que dispararle a ella. Why he had to shot her?
numb with questions she can't answer and thinking about the child she lost who had already been through so much.
She survived cancer, knee cancer.
A survivor.
Yeah, for about I'd say 2 years.
Her family saddened she had to suffer again.
Not good.
That's why this hurts so much.
That's the worst pain.
And if I was there with Sarah, I knew that I would protect Sarah. I would have never let her cry and suffer.
Ella, mi niña, pregunta por...
I wish I didn't just have to remember her. I wish she was right here.
This family will never forget who they lost, and neither will this community that is fighting for strength through their grief.
Pues no sé, yo pienso que ya es todo.
I think that's everything.
In Skagit County, Jenna Hanchard, King 5 News.